Jared Ivie. This will be my in the bag for the South Fork Disc Golf Club. So yeah, let's get started with it here. Show you some of the stuff that I use. So my bag's kind of depleted right now. It's kind of beginning of the season here. Haven't played really at all this winter. So usually I've got all kinds of goodies in here, but I don't have a lot of that right now. So anyways, first off with the bag. So I've been using this bag for about 5 years. Great bag. This is the Fade company disc golf bag. Holds quite a few discs. It's a nice shape. Fits good on my lower back right here. This is the black version here, the Evo Pecker version. So kind of funny, but a good bag. Definitely like it a lot. It's got these nice pockets here in the front for your putters. Mini's gone. My little boy likes to grab it. I'll have to track it down here or get a new one. Those definitely disappear fast, my little kids. Got the pencil holders here. Side pocket, same on both sides, kind of a big pocket. So I never like to play with my wallet in my pocket. So I'll slide it in here, cell phone, keys, all that kind of stuff. Pull it out of the pockets. Goodies, fruit snacks, granola bars. Then I'll also load it up, 2 20-ounce water bottles on either side. Sometimes maybe 4 of them, depending on how hot the day is. Playing in Memphis, Tennessee, it's where I first started playing disc golf, having 90-degree days, 100% humidity. Can't have enough water. Out here, not quite as big of a deal. But water there for sure. And then on the back, it's got this nice top pocket here. Flip it around. This is where I'll put all my pens, markers. So, a few things in here right now. First of all, I've got to have the LED lights for playing some night rounds. These things are great. Put them on your disc, see them a mile away. So, got a baggie of those. Got to have my Sharpie here, you know, so when you nail that ace, you can have everyone sign it. So I've only hit 1 ace, but you know I got to be ready for that for sure. There'll be more. So got the Sharpie, and then you know in the warm time of year or kind of fall, whatever, I'll keep one glove in here. And the reason I do that is in my left hand I like to put a glove on to kind of keep it warm. My right hand I'll just put in my coat pocket or whatever to keep it warm. If it's really cold, I'll have more gloves, obviously. But this always just kind of stays in there. I just kind of pick this one up, kind of a grippy one. Just kind of works good if it's a little chilly. So one glove, left hand. That's basically the bag. Oh yeah, gotta prop out to these. So for this bag, where it's not a backpack bag, gotta have the straps on there. And I use the Phoenix Disc Sports Quad Shocks. Best straps made for sure. Super comfortable, good padding, layout really nice. Super comfortable. These straps have been awesome. Definitely worth their weight. You know, cost a little bit of money, but very good. So good straps. Then I've got a little tag front here. So of course the club tags, gotta have those on there. Let's see, finished up 10 last year. Yeah, kind of rough year. Didn't play a lot. But there's the tag holder right there. So that's my bag. Good bag, like it, really comfortable. Alright, so moving into discs now, the important stuff. I'm going to start with what I feel like are the most important discs in the bag. That's going to be the putters. This is where I believe you can lose the most strokes on the course or gain the most strokes. You can throw awesome drives and then 3-putt and leave it all out there. So get your putters, get some you like, feel good in your hand, throw these a ton. Get good, get comfortable with your putters. Know your distance, know your lines. This will save more strokes out of any other disc in the bag. That's what I believe anyways. So I've ran through some different putters over the years, through magnets for a while, through a Nova a lot, a Nova AVRs. The reason I moved away from the Nova AVRs was because they get a little bit soft on me, at least the basic AVRs, the DX. I like how they fly, but sometimes they get soft and they kind of turn over a little bit more or don't hold their line. So I've actually moved over this last year and a half more into the Wizards. Of course, got a shout out, Ice Bowl 2012 stamp. Ice Bowl's coming up here, guys, 2015, just a couple weeks. So get signed up for that, tons of fun. Good thing to go out and play. So Ice Bowl stamp there. But anyways, this is the soft Wizard. I believe it's a 172-ish right there. This is my go-to putter. 90% of the time I'm going to pull this out. This thing flies good for me. Good line, comes out of the hand clean. I really like this putter a lot. So I'm going to stick with this one for quite a while. Just a good one. So that's my go-to putter. Now I do have another Wizard in the bag. I actually picked this one up out in Memphis when I was playing out there. Went and watched the tournament where Nico Castro was playing. Of course, that's when he was throwing more for Gateway with his family there. And picked up a lot of Gateway plastic then. But this is the one that stuck around. The reason I like this one is it's a better wind putter. So if there's any kind of wind, little headwind, I'll pull this one out every time. A little more stable with that medium flex, kind of a little harder plastic. Still feels good in the hand, flies nice. The reason I don't like this putter is it rolls like crazy. So if you pop it off the rim and get this on an edge on any kind of a hill, it'll roll for miles. So it's a dangerous putter because of the rollaways with it. I've turned many 20-footers into 80-foot putts with this rollaway. But in the wind, I'm going to throw this because it's just a little more stable, a little more trustworthy. The other reason I like it a lot is a great driving putter. I can throw this thing pretty hard, holds a straight line, really good for those 80, 100-foot shots, just kind of pures right at it. So I'll throw this one a lot in those mid-range kind of areas there. Holds a good line for me. So wizard stuff. But pick your putter, learn them good. It'll save you. Yeah, that's what's gonna get your scores dropping as you're putting for sure. So those are my putters right there. All right. So kind of how I lay out my bag. Always 2 putters in there. Like those 2 putters. And then I'll always have this set up. It's just what works for me. I've got a divider in my bag. I'll always have 5 mid-ranges and then 13 drivers. 13 is just what I put in there when I first kind of set the bag up. It felt good weight-wise. And just lucky number, unlucky, whatever, it's just 13 fits. Easy to count them real quick. 13, I always know there's 13 there, 5 there, so easy to check real quick so I don't leave a disc out there. So it's going to be that way every time I play. 13 there, 5 there. Just works for me, kind of whatever. So let's go to mid-ranges here. I've been all over the place at mid-ranges, and I'll probably be all over the place again this next year. Probably should eventually get some consistency in my bag, but it's just fun to throw different stuff, so I do. So I'll start with my most overstable. Now, you'll laugh, this is really not a mid-range. This is a stalker from Discraft in the titanium plastic, and you can't mock me, but this is the Page Pierce stamp. Now the reason I use this as a mid-range is it's very overstable as a mid-range. I think as a driver it's a mid-stable, but for me this flies more like a mid-range when I throw it, and it's just stable for me. So I like this a lot. When I need something that's going to be stable, cut to the left, mid-range, 200-foot distance, I throw this a lot as a mid-range. So for me the stalker is a mid-range player. Definitely a good disc that I like quite a bit because of that reason. So there's that. Mid-range. Moving in is going to be this Rock 3. So I actually picked this up this last year. Big shout out to Casey. You guys got to come if you haven't played in the Southeast Idaho Invitational. Awesome tournament, fun tournament, good payouts, tons of good food. Casey puts on an awesome one. This is one of the best tournaments here in Idaho. You got to come check it out. Always a good time. So Southeast Idaho Invitational, come check it out. Anyways, picked up this Rock 3 there. When I first threw this, I really didn't like it a whole lot. I just didn't like how it came out of my hand. It was really pretty stable, and I just didn't like it a lot, but I kept throwing it. Pretty soon it's found a niche in my bag. It's really good to throw hard, holds a straight line, and comes back to the left. So when I need something to be consistent and move over for me, this is going to be it for sure, this Rock 3. And one thing that I've changed in my game over this past maybe a year and a half, 2 years, is throwing a little bit more stable stuff. I realized I was throwing stuff out of bounds, not having a lot of good control. So I just went up in stability. Even though some of these maybe aren't stable for most people, for me these are pretty stable with how I throw. The stability takes out half the course. I know that disc is coming back. I can trust I can throw it hard, it's coming back. So it really kind of helps you pick apart the course. So if you're having trouble with stuff moving around on you, go up in that stability, take out a side of the course, know where that disc is going. That'll help your game a lot. So really stable as far as a mid. I'm using that more and more. So that's kind of my stability there between the titanium stalker and the Rock 3. Good ones. Moving to kind of more of a mid-range one. I used to throw buzzes all the time. Ended up losing my buzzes and just kind of went away from them. But I do have one buzz in the bag. This titanium plastic's okay. I like the Elite Z plastic a little better, honestly, for the buzz. But I'll throw this a little bit. It holds a nice straight line. Not my most thrown mid-range for sure, but hey, it's a buzz. You got a buzz in the bag, right? So there it is. All right, now on to probably the two that I throw the most for distance mid-ranges. So the first is going to be this DX Rock. I think it's a San Marino stamp. Anyways, this is a fun tournament that my friend Nate and I put on. Give Haiti hope when they had that earthquake there. Good tournament. Got these rocks and ended up loving this disc. I can throw this hard, but on a hyzer line it pops up, glides a long ways, and then just eases down in. So this is great for those 200-foot shots that I want to be pretty accurate. Throw it straight, right at the pin, settles in next to it. So I throw this one a lot in that mid-range there. No, it's not going to cut too far to the left, just kind of ease in there. Not great for a headwind, but I throw this a lot for sure. So this rock. Rocks are good. You like rocks. If you don't have a rock, check them out for sure. They're a lot. Now the one you maybe haven't heard of as much is this Gateway Element. This is another one I picked up at that Nico LaCastro turn back in Memphis. and I just like the feel of it. I would say this is kind of like a beat-in rock when you throw it. But this thing flies great for me in the trees. It's really pretty straight, holds a long distance line. I like it a lot. So I'm throwing one really far, but want to kind of settle in. This element is one I'll pull out too. Just feels good in the hand, flies nice. If you haven't ever thrown an element for a mid, you gotta try one sometime. This is actually their glow plastic, but these things are fun to throw. They throw far, as far as some of my drivers actually. Holds a nice line, good in the trees, controllable too. I can turn this one to the right a little bit, to the left, straight. It does kind of what you ask it to do. I like this a lot. So shout out to Gateway. That's actually one of my favorite discs, is that element right there. Really good. So that's my mid ranges. That's kind of what I throw. Like I said, I'm actually pushing the stability a little bit more, trying to piece apart the course to kind of bring stuff back so I know where it's going. So throwing the Rock 3 a little bit more this next year, I think. And we'll see how it goes. Alright, so jumping into my drivers now, some other fun stuff here. Kind of do the same thing. I'll start in the more stable plastic here. So the first, going to be my Firebird. So this disc saved my bacon in a tournament 2 years ago in Blackfoot. First tournament of the year for me. Super windy, had to have been 40, 50 mile per hour gusts, just wind like crazy. Discs were going every which direction. I picked this up actually from Casey in the club. Thanks, Casey. He's not a Firebird fan, but he got me this one. And I had it at that tournament. I just started throwing. This is the only disc I threw. I putted with this thing at that tournament. It was crazy. But I threw this thing and it does what Firebirds do. The same thing in wind, out of wind. It holds the same line. It's super nice. Doesn't turn in the wind. Just throw it out, eases back around. 250, 350, somewhere in that range. Just really nice. Consistent, consistent, consistent. So anytime there's wind, I'm pulling this one out. It just does the same thing. Really trustworthy. So if you don't have a Firebird in your bag, you probably better get one in Idaho because it's windy here and you're going to need it. I also do throw this on flicks a little bit. You know, it's pretty good. Cuts back a little hard on my flicks. I'm not a powerful flick thrower, but I will throw this on flicks when I really need something to come back to the right pretty good. Not the farthest flying disc in my bag by any means, but trustworthy it is. So throw that one a lot in the wind for sure. Firebird's good stuff. So I'm working this one into the bag, kind of as a more stable one in the wind too. This is a Star FL. I'm only throwing it just a handful of times, you know. I feel like it's going to be a pretty good wind disc to maybe get me a little bit more distance, a little more glide, but still be trustworthy. I don't know for sure yet, jury's out, but we'll see this next year. Throw it a little more and see how this FL flies for me, but it feels good in the hand for sure. Alright, pull those guys out. Alright, so moving into my flick disc. One thing that I knew that was weak in my game about a year and a half ago was that left to right shot. I don't really have a good ante, and I really wasn't throwing flicks, so I decided I need to learn how to throw the flick, the forehand shot. So I had this in my closet. I actually found this back in Memphis in a mud pond, been sitting there. Crazy stamps on it, all kind of messy. But this is actually a Star Boss. I started flicking this and it just flies perfect for my flick. I flick it hard, kind of an Anheuser angle, goes out to the left, fights back, eases around. Consistent, 250, 300 feet, always comes back, glides a little bit. This is my flick disc right here. This has really helped improve my game a lot, opened up a lot more shots for me. I throw flicks a lot more now than I used to just because of this disc, so I hope I don't lose it because it might be a hard one to replace for sure. But that Boss right there, a little more stable than some, that's my flick disc for sure. Really like it a lot. So Boss, I think it's a 170, yeah, 170, so good stuff. Okay, moving down the line, this is another Boss. Obviously you can see by the bubbles in here, this is their Blizzard Champion plastic. So these were the rage a year ago. Even now, you know, people are bombing these. I think the last two longest distant throws out there on the desert were with these light Bosses. And they do glide really good. I'm not a big fan. You know, something about the bubbles or whatever, but these discs are not trustworthy for me. You know, as far as Bosses go, I can hit this one hard, sometimes it'll hyzer, sometimes it'll straight, sometimes it'll catch the wind and turn. It's kind of all over the place. Not a headwind disc at all. This thing will go all over the place for sure. I do like throwing it on calm days, does glide pretty good, but I don't know that it gets a ton farther than my Pro Boss. But still playing with it a little bit, see how it works. So there it is, Blizzard. Alright, so moving down. This is my Star Katana. Now, these katanas are actually pretty understable, understable type drivers, long distance. But for me, these Star Katanas, it's like a different mold almost. They're really kind of flat, kind of chiseled on the side, sharp edge. This is a pretty stable driver for me. The reason I have this in the bag is somewhat for wind shots. You know, it glides pretty good in the wind. If it's not too much of a headwind, gets good distance, and comes back. But the most important reason it's in the bag is, bam, it's my only hole-in-one ace disc. Nailed this one out in Memphis. Actually a blind ace, 250 foot out, 50 foot to the left, cut hard for me, high up, dropped into change. Coolest thing about that was the biggest tournament I've ever played in. Pulled a $100 ace pop for that one. So pretty sweet for sure. So that one's going to stay in the bag for sure. Actually lost this and got it back a few times. But I do throw this in the wind a little bit. It's a fun disc to throw. Just doesn't meet a lot of the needs that I have in a disc for sure. So it's not the first one I'll pull out. But that's it right there. Star Katana. Moving down, I do throw this one quite a bit. So when I first started playing, I was a Discraft guy out in Memphis. Just found a lot of Discraft, so I threw it. So this is a Nuke, Elite Z Nuke. Beautiful pink color. I'm a big fan of pink, bright, neon colors. They show up everywhere on the course. Don't lose them. Easy to see. No neon colors. Works great. This is a great flying disc. Goes really far, pretty consistent, comes back for me. I like it a lot. I still throw it a fair amount out on the course. But this disc is starting to be taken over a little bit by my Prodigy disc. And I'll show you why I kind of leaning towards the Prodigy a little more. But I do throw this Nuke a lot. So if you haven't thrown a Nuke, check it out. They're a lot of fun to throw. Glide pretty good. Come back at the end. Good disc for sure. So that's the Elite Z Nuke. So the disc that's kind of taken some show spotlight away from the Nuke there is this Prodigy. So when I first got this Prodigy, it's kind of, hey, let's check out the new plastic, see what it's like. This is the proto actually of the D3. Initially didn't like it a lot. It just kind of flew more stable than I thought it would. But as I started throwing it more and more and more, I started kind of buying into what they've done. So they have this easy release technology that's kind of smoother off the hand right there. And I buy it. I don't feel like any pinch on my fingers when I throw this thing over and over. Comes out of the hand smooth, just gets that nice smooth release, which I like a lot. Helps to the consistency of the throw. And then they also claim these have a tighter flight path. Kind of stay within a more narrow corridor flight path. And I kind of believe it. This one hooks up for me pretty good. Kind of glides, and eases back in, drops in nice. So this I'm throwing a lot more on the course. It's pretty trustworthy. Not perfect for a headwind, but it can fight some wind for sure. But really just kind of eases out and comes down. Just consistent. I throw it hard, it flies straight and then comes down for me. So this is taking over what the Nuke used to do for me. I think Prodigy is going to start filling a few more spots in my bag for sure. But this D3 is one of my go-tos and will be this next year for sure. So D3 Proto right there. Good stuff. Now moving down to one of my favorite discs. So back in the day, some of the pros were talking about what they threw for far stuff. And one of the consensus was this 168, for some reason the 168 weight, 168, 169 bosses, but it has to be in the Pro Plastic. So the Pro Plastic, for some reason, is just a little bit domier. And that dominess really makes these things glide nice. They cut through the air good, they throw nice. If you're kind of a mid-power level player, not a real strong thrower, you can put this on a slight hyzer line, it pops up, glides, goes far. I love throwing this thing in the open. Just goes far, glides nice, feels good in the hand. So I've got a nice long open shot. I'll pull this out quite a bit. I can get probably 40-50 feet more on this sometimes compared to my Prodigy. Just glides nice, feels good in the hand. If you haven't thrown a Pro Boss 168, gotta be red. Go get you one, toss it, come grab me on the course, toss it, you'll like it, you'll get one in the bag. They throw real nice. So I throw that quite a bit. Fun disc for sure. Now I threw another Prodigy in there this last year. This is actually the D4. Weird, the D4 when I got it, I don't know if it's because their molds were a little bit different, they were changing things up. Still in the 400S plastic. The D4 should be a little bit less stable than my D3, but this is actually more stable for me initially. So I didn't like that very much. I thought I was going to gain something that glide a little more, but it's pretty stable. As I've thrown it more though, and kind of beat it in just a little bit, it's starting to glide out a little bit more, getting the distance. I still kind of feel like I have a better feel for the D3 and that protoplastic, so I throw it more. But I think as I use this more and more this next year, I'll get some more glide on it. And again, I like the plastic to feel good. So I'm going to throw this a little bit more this next year and see how it works for me. So that's the D4 Prodigy right there. Longest flying disc for me is definitely going to be the Katana. So I said the Star Katana is pretty stable. This is the Pro Plastic. For some reason the Pro Plastic tends to be a little more glidey than some of the other plastics for sure. I like the Pro Plastic a lot. So Pro Katana 172. This thing glides great. I hit it hard, throws up kind of an S curve, but just glides and glides and glides. So I love going out into the open field and just chucking this hard as a blast. Open shot, so I don't have to worry about the left to right as much. No headwinds for sure. Chuck this hard, get the best distance out of this for sure. Any kind of a headwind though, not happening. This thing turns over every time in a headwind. So definitely a calm day kind of disc. But I throw it a lot. It's kind of getting beat up a little bit. I'm going to have to get new in the bag. But I definitely like these. If you want another kind of mid-range power level disc, goes far, check out the Pro Katana. Good disc for sure. Alright. So I don't throw a ton of what you call fairway drivers, just because out here pretty open, don't have to play in the trees a whole lot to keep stuff straight. But I do have a couple that are kind of in that realm. Probably the first one for me, and it's not so much a fairway driver, but it's going to be the Sidewinder here. So this is my third disc in this series. You can see why I lose them a lot. Kind of infatuated with this digital camel stamp that I put on these. For some reason the Sidewinder just looks good. Did it once. Loved it, lost that disc promptly, did another one, lost it, and now I'm on this one. Been a little more careful with it, but you can see why I lose them. You throw that in the fall, in leaves, brown grass, it disappears every time. I just leave them out there on the course because I can't find them. But the Sidewinder I like a lot. One of the first discs that I really got good distance on, and that's what it's designed for, is get you that big S curve for kind of a weaker power arm and really come back for you. I throw hard enough now that I tend to turn these over, so I don't throw this a ton. But it's great for my Anheuser shot. So I need a kind of an Anheuser shot, bring it around, works good. Sometimes long S shots around trees, pretty slick. And then more and more I'm starting to use this as my roller disc. I don't throw a lot of backhand rollers, I don't have that kind of power. But if I'm going to throw a backhand roller, this Sidewinder does pretty good for me. So I'll crank it hard, get it rolling. I actually throw more flick or forehand rollers with my Firebird and get just about as good a distance, a little more control. So if you see me do a roller, it's going to be a flick a lot of the time. But definitely a roller disc too. So Sidewinder's good stuff. Kind of an early beginner thrower. Get a Sidewinder. This will teach you how to throw, and it'll be good for you. Now moving into more traditional stuff. This is my Ken Climo stamp in Nova Eagle. Used to be a beautiful disc. It's kind of been bleached out, bright orange. Had the rainbow stamp. Super nice. I actually kind of wish I would have maybe put this one on the wall, but it flew so nice I wanted to throw it. So this is my Eagle, flies straight. Throw it hard, flies straight, awesome in trees, good distance, just keeps a nice straight line, really consistent for me. Yeah, I throw this one a lot if there's any kind of trees. It's just really trustworthy, comes off the hand nice, just feels good. So Eagle, that's my kind of go-to in the trees right there. Pretty good control with that. Like I said, super nice one. I left it out in the, actually in a park. Forgot it one day, left it out there for about 2 months. Friend found it, got it back to me, which I'm grateful for, but it bleached it out pretty bad, but great disc. Now the other one I'm kind of working in the bag, actually kind of won this one in a tournament last year. This is the Dynamic Disc Escape Fusion plastic. I like this plastic, feels really good. This is a straight flying disc. I think it's going to be really good in the trees too. Like I said, don't play a ton of trees out here, but for straight line shots, low, tight, low ceilings, good disc. So I think I'm going to put this out there a little more whenever I'm in the trees, this Fusion right here, kind of working into the bag. But got to have a Dynamic in there. They make some pretty good stuff too. So there's that Fusion right there, the Escape, good stuff. So that's my drivers. So I kind of ran through my whole bag now. Got the putters, most important ones in the bag. Get putters, throw them, get comfortable with them. Got my mids 5, got 13 drivers. One thing I will do is sometimes, depending on the weather, I'll throw in some utility discs. I might throw out like that Blizzard, for instance. It's no good in the wind. I'm going to pull it out, and I'll throw in this Flick right here. So this Elite Z Discraft Flick, by far the most overstable disc made, I'm convinced. These things are like razor blades in the air. They're super flat, stiff. These things are a meat hook. You throw them as hard as you want, it's going to fight fast to the left. You can never turn this thing over, ever, ever, ever. In the wind, always come back. It's called the Flicks. It's a perfect flick disc. Always hooks to the right. I like to use this when I need something that's going to go out and then fight to the right. Almost like a 90-degree angle. It's going to do it for me. Backhand flick. Really, really good. Awesome for skip shots. Actually throw some tomahawks with it too. Just kind of fights through the air really good. I'm not a big overhand thrower. Don't have the shoulder strength. Never played baseball. But this will do it. Kind of throw some crazy loop-de-loop shots with it too. You can kind of throw it like this and fight it around. Just does some cool stuff. So kind of my utilitarian kind of throw around stuff disc. Been with me for a long time. So it kind of goes in and out depending on the weather or the course with that too. But yeah, if you ever want to try and crank one hard and see if you can turn over, come try this this flick. If you could turn this over, give you $5. Anyways, that's pretty much my bag right there. Hope to see you guys out on the course. Come support the South Fork Disc Golf stuff. Tons of fun. Great guys in it. And we'll see you out on the course.